Okay, if you blaze up your head, okay, good. All right. Is there any way for you to sit to make your head come higher? Yeah, like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's good like that. Good, good. Yeah, that's the way to do it. This your bow tie is like one of my own.
You gave me this, sir.
Eh? Okay, well, you see, I was thinking it's suspicious. I have. I didn't remember.
It was part of the birthday
Package.
package.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
I will not know. So you think you are set now because it's been a while since they have been trying to get you people. It's now that you are ready. You feel you are ready, eh? Or
Yeah,
it was the or
to
it was the persuasive power of the ladies that did the miracle.
well, I think everything together.
Okay.
Everything together.
Are we on Facebook yet? Okay,
We feel more ready than before.
okay, we are on Facebook, on YouTube now, but that is we are on, but we will soon be on Facebook. So once we go on Facebook, I will welcome the people on Facebook as well as YouTube, and then we can go. I hope all the doors, windows are all closed. Are you sure? Or you need to check over there? Okay, who do I have there? Okay, I have Nkeshi welcoming us. And then I have OC Adi is here as well. So OC Adi and Nkeshi are the ones who are greeting us. We have more people there, but they are the ones who have decided to greet us. Oh, Justine is also there greeting us. Justine Mayo. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Am I on? I think we are on Facebook, are we? Let me check and welcome a few people there. Oh yeah, we've been on Facebook. Rochelle White, Benga Ifatumo, Emmanuel Edwin, Adamu Bash, Tokwe Olu Owolabi, Dewin Nimene, Lola Shadele, Ola Agide, Samuel Audu, Edwin Amimi, Olufemi Oshikoya. Yep, welcome everybody. Welcome guys. Naomi Soko. Well, the person that I have today is as my guest is a usual suspect. I mean, that is a popular guy. He has been recommended himself so highly from working with me here. And don't touch that one. Just put that one in the back of it. Yeah. So he's a person that is already popular to you, well known to you people, and but you don't know him as much, so we would need to get to know him more today. No, just close like this. Yeah, that way. Yeah, good. So I'll be talking together with BAMISAYE Victor. BAMISAYE Victor. So you better get ready, because whenever those guys are on, you know, BAMISAYE Victor and Anu and Success, those are dangerous guys. Those are the new generation of Nigerians that are coming home to storm that continent. So you better get ready. In fact, as a matter of fact, I would like to challenge you people to go invite your friends and family members, because no, what should I say? Go invite your friends and family members, because as far as I know, they are going to be blessed. and they are not just going to be blessed, but they should have hope. This our talk should be able to give them some faith and hope, and resurrect in them, a better thoughts and ideas about Nigeria. So here we go. Let's start because we are going to have a lot to talk about. And before the time goes, let's just start. Here we come. Bamishaye Victor. How are you today, sir?
Very well, sir.
You
We're
all,
living.
you almost look as if you are going to your wedding.
Well, we have to dress the occasion. We have to dress the occasion so we can do better when it's finally the day for the wedding.
Okay, so you will have been well rehearsed.
Yeah, well rehearsed.
Beautiful. Good looking.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I'm sure many people, of course, know you. They have listened to you when you talk on different topics. But I don't think all of them have had the opportunity to hear your story to the end. And so what I would like us to start with today is, where are you coming from? What's your background?
Well, I was born as the second of 3 children. To my parents, my dad was he was a career man, but when I was born, I got to know him as a politician. So I'll call him a career politician. And my mom was a health worker. Everything was rosy, it was good. We were not the richest, but we're comfortable within every word called comfort. I mean, I had everything I could ask for within the limits of what I was exposed to.
Within the Nigerian concept.
Yeah, in the Nigerian concept, yes. So especially, not just in the Nigerian concept, in the concept of a boy living in Ekiti. So I was born in Ondo State, but immediately after creation of Ekiti State, my parents moved back to Ekiti. And the year after, my dad was elected as a local government chairman in Oye local government. So, Oye local government, yeah. My dad was elected in 1997 as a local government chairman there. So we had to move back from Ondo State to Ekiti. So we moved to a town called Omo, where he was already running his clinic there. So
was he a medical doctor or a businessman?
Yes, he was a medical practitioner. I was more of a nurse, but he retired, I think, 1993. Due to some political, he was already in politics, so the guys who came in there he was more of an political activist, so removing him was just so easy. Like not the unionists, how they do. So they had to just he had to be forcefully retired. For what I learned over time, so he was retired and he ventured fully into politics ever since. And so I got to know him as a politician. So in 1997, like I said, I think he is contested before. I think that was the time Abacha came. 93, Abacha came in the scattered the whole process. But by 96, 97, there was another election process. So he eventually won that election, and we had to move back to Ekiti. So, but we didn't move to Oye local government. We moved to Omo. So we stayed in Omo, which was a neighboring local government, while he was doing his own affairs in Oye. So we shuttles between Oye and Omo. Then later we moved to the state capital because it was we had to move them there. My mom was working in Ado before that time, so she used to shuttle between Ado and Omo. So we just had to move to Ado permanently. And so from 1998 thereabout, I moved to Ado. But something happened then which I think also informed the decision. I got paralyzed as a young guy. I think that was in 1997 or 8. I'm not sure exactly.
What age were you?
I was between either 5 or 6 when I got paralyzed.
Was that an
injection on my nerve? Yeah.
Oh.
So my leg. So from then I couldn't walk. So I had to see a consultant every week.
Wrong injection. Did they take the practitioner liable, the nurse?
What happened was it was even in my own dad's clinic, so he wasn't around. So there was an auxiliary nurse on on duty that Sunday. So I had to complete, I had malaria then, so I had to complete my dose. It was even, in fact, the last injection to be taken. So I just got the injection. I guess she missed the target. And so that's how my leg went for it. So for over a year like that, it was like that. I had to be seeing the orthopedic doctor every week, every Monday. So
How are you going to school?
Yeah, I was going to school assisted, and that time I was using some sort of stick and some special sandal. But one Monday, my mom was very broke because as of that time in 1998-99, the cost of just to see the doctor, not even the treatment, just to see the doctor was 500 naira per session. That was 1999. That should be nothing less than. It was quite a sum then.
Yeah.
I don't know what the exchange rate was there, but some 999, 500 naira just for consultation was quite a sum. So yeah. I think that money she was just broke. So and she just said that she's done with this stuff. So she took the sandal and threw it away, and then walked me to school. That I'm done. We are not seeing this doctor again. Whatever has to be the case. God just has to intervene. So she threw the sandal away, walked me to school. But the fortunate thing, I walked back to see her in the hospital.
By yourself?
By myself. So that singular act of faith that she displayed got me my healing. And that was the first time I was going to, express a miracle. But it was second because I didn't have faith for it. For me, all I did was to wear my sandal. It had some belts that were strapped around my thigh and towards my leg and all of that. So, but she threw that sandal away. And that was the last time I saw a doctor. So that was how my childhood was. And I didn't have to ask for anything per se, because I had, this was the concept of my parents, especially my dad then. I can't remember ever asking my dad for money. Because he had a pharmacy shop, especially when we were in Ekiti, when I was about 10 years old, like that. And in that shop, everything that pertains to we call it soft drinks. We call them soft drink, juice, Coca-Cola, everything, Capri Sun, like that. I was in charge. So when I'm on holiday, we're in the shop. So I make the sales, make the gain, and pay thrift. I used to pay thrift then.
What age were you?
I was about 10, from 10 like that. My brother was about 6. So he was always in charge of pure water. So my mom also had a section in a shop where she used to sell clothes. But in that same shop, I used to sell cards, greeting cards. So I was just in charge like that. So they had empowered us. So sometimes, in many cases, because my dad was in a position, and the guy could get $1 million in a day, and in the morning and by evening, he doesn't have anything again. Because to service your political structure, you need money. So many times we were even richer than them. So I never knew what it was to ask my parents for money. So even till now, I think it had built that level of independence in me that is very hard for me to ask. Because even my own dad, I never grew up to asking him for money. So, we get what the reverse was the case. No matter it was my own mom who used to ask us for money.
So they actually put the seed of entrepreneurship into you.
Yes. So as of then, I used to make a thrift of about 500 naira of them every day. Thrift is what they call ajo. So there was a woman who was always going around. So from the gain I make, paid the thrift. From the others we restock. So when this Coca-Cola,
the thrift for people who are looking, who are watching, who are not African, not Nigerian. Thrift is like savings. It's like banking. It's like the local savings that people do among market women or local people.
So since ours was also within a local community like that, there was a trusted woman who was always going around helping people save their money. All she does is she takes the first one of the month. That's her gain. So at the end of the month, she brings you your complete money. So I was always paying thrift, especially during the day, every day. So by the end of the month, about as of the exchange rate then, I was about $200 to $300 rich between 10 to 15. It was just like that constantly.
But that was later to that wisdom and that kind of upbringing that God gave you was later to show itself beneficial in many ways in your life, many,
Yes,
because later on you had to experience and suffer the tragedy of losing both parents
yes,
at a
sir.
very young age. Why would you say the training later benefited you, and then the story of the tragedy that you had to go through as a young man?
Yeah, so how that benefited me was I never understood what it was to depend on anybody in the first place. So when my parents are gone, I had this understanding that everybody around me was a benefit. So if my parents who were the greatest benefit were gone, nobody owed me anything. So just that understanding made me understand that this life is what I make it for myself. So I knew nobody owes me anything or nobody owed me anything. So when people give me, I am so grateful. But when they don't, it doesn't change the relationship I have with them because they were never indebted to me. So that basic understanding helped me to be a little bit more industrial, a little bit more hardworking to understand that I have to make things work for myself. So I remember how, in fact, I feel like after the passing of my mom was baking.
Bakery?
Yeah, baking, yeah. So as of 2015, I was baking to survive. So I made good cakes anyway. So, but I dropped that because I got busy and caught up in bigger stuff over time. So that entrepreneurial skills is already in here, and I do a lot of investment calculations and how to invest into the future and make things happen. So that really helped me not to think that anybody owes me anything, and to try to make things work out for myself. So those two were very integral. I mean, I think it's a part of me now.
So for example, I can relate to your story in a lot of ways because I also started making money with my grandmother from the age of about 6. So I was going to trade in firewood and also making money and bringing money back and all that. So that is very familiar. And also the tragedy. I also lost uh, yeah, my parents. You could say I never knew my dad, but so my grandmother was the person there for me for my dad and my mom. So she died at 15 or 16. Between 15 and 16, and yeah, I know how I felt and how that shook me. But in your own case, you had a mother and a dad. I'm sure you never would have expected that you would grow up without them. That kind of did you ever thought of that?
No. I don't think there's any child. In fact, no matter how much you want to say you even hate anybody, that you'll be thinking of growing up as an orphan. It never crossed my mind. So
No, because
it was a shock.
maybe somebody was sick for a long time, so you could anticipate that this person might die. But then for the two, of course, is that's a little bit.
Even when people get sick, the hope is always that they get well. Sickness is a normal part of the human development and growth. People get sick and they get well. We've seen that happen not just to us, but even to them. They've been sick over time, get well, and life get buzzing again. So, the maximum that has happened is that as of that time, they get all of our empathy and attention. That is sick now, nobody should make noise in the house. Or mommy is not so strong. You just try to make things happen for her, do her duties, cook. So those were it. But to think that they were ever going to die, no. Because what even made it more dangerous or more painful for me then was, as of the time my dad died, we were planning to have his 50th birthday and my 15th. So it was not that he was 50, but he was trying to celebrate the whole idea of 50 as of that time. So that was the plan, that he was going to celebrate my 15th birthday in a grand way, and since he's not been celebrating his birthday all the while, he was just going to celebrate 50. So, that was the hope, that just get well and we get going again. But when he left, in fact, the funny thing or the interesting thing about how he died was, I got to know of it on my birthday. So this was the story, sir. I was in school. I was in school, then secondary school, and we're having a house sport, and it happened to be on my birthday. So I was having this urge to just go home. I was having this urge to be at home. It was so strong. I had never felt that way. To the extent that I just had to go to the call center and call my mom that I want to come home. On a normal day, I would never have felt like that. Number one, school exams are over, but school is still in session. So knowing the kind of parents I have, they will never indulge me in such. So I knew that. I mean, it's something I know. What will I say I'm going to do at home when my people are in school?
Were you in boarding school or something?
Yeah, I was in boarding school. So in the next 40 minutes, my mom was around. What's happening? First, she didn't even question me. She was around. In the next 5 minutes, they had even released me. It doesn't happen like that in my school. They will, even no matter if your dad is the governor, they will ask why are you going home now. But you know about the school program before, so it won't take that long. So everything got sorted out very fast. Then we were driving to.
And you were wondering what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, I felt lucky. I just felt lucky, like, okay, maybe, this is the first time my mom will even come to ask for such. Maybe it's because of personality or such that got everything. I thought it was the caliber that got the whole thing very fast. So, but when we drive to Ado, she was one driving. She got to a popular restaurant known as Danke Restaurant in Ado as of that time. Then she parked. And I noticed she was sobbing. She was crying. That could only be one thing, not two. But it had to deal with the state of my dad. So I was already very eager to know what he has to say. But the woman couldn't just look back. She couldn't look at. Then after a while, she just looked back and said, I'm sorry. We lost your dad. And I was sitting at the back of the car there. I was stunned. Millions of thoughts were going through my head. I was confused. I could not even.
You were 15.
I don't know how to put it. Like rivers of thoughts were just flowing through that small head. Okay. Because everything that happened within that second makes me understand that anybody who is going through any psychological trauma, when they need help, and listen closely, people. A lot of people think when people go through psychological trauma that they need people, that it's within the first 3 days, everybody rush to be around them. No. They don't even realize what has happened within that period. It does not settle in. They are still trying to battle with reality. Can this be real, or could it be a dream I'm waking out of? So within the first 1-2 weeks, people don't really know they really do not accept that reality. It is after 2 weeks that reality sets in. So for me, I was just processing the whole Lord. What is going to happen?
It was
now?
a shock.
Okay.
It's a shock.
Yeah, the shock alone.
There are six stages of tragedy. The first one is a shock. Then the other one is denial.
So we go through all of those. So when people think that within the first 3 days, when people are still within the stage of, in fact, denial, people are still in denial for about 1-2 weeks. That's when people come around, and after that, you don't see anybody around. The stage when you actually need people, when you have accepted the situation, when you are now starting to grieve, usually there's nobody around. So I learned that when my dad died. So because when she was telling me, in fact, I slept that night. I got home. I saw the register, the condolence register. I was able to scan through. I saw some names, some big names who I just stated earlier. Because it's been 4 days. He died in he died up to November 18. My birthday is November 22nd. So before days of day keeping silent at all, and not saying anything. So that's why she was so much in a hurry to come pick me, because she was thinking maybe there's some spiritual connection that's making me feel the way I was feeling, that I had to come. So she got to.
So she was sick. She was actually in mourning mode. She was mourning.
Yes, she was.
And
mourning.
she decided to come by herself.
Yeah, she came.
What about your siblings? So your siblings had known about it by that time?
Yes, my siblings had known.
They were at home?
Yeah, they were at home, but in a separate room, because my mom was also trying to protect them from the whole crowd. So nobody was, she was trying to make sure everybody just were in a room where they had what they needed. So to protect them from the whole crowd, I didn't know what her experiences were, but as I grew older, I realized that she had known that the crowd there, that they don't really care. So she was so protective that we should just stay where we are, let the people, because my dad was a politician. He had a lot of exposure to different people from
friends and enemies.
In fact, I think the people who would be enemy were doing better, because to count people who were his friends now, I can't really answer on two. I can't even really answer on one. I really can't really answer on one, because going through what I went through from the time he died, then I realized that the Yoruba proverb that says meaning legs, the sounds of marching legs in the house of a man who provides free meal. But that guy, after his death, the house was empty. So my dad's death gave me a vivid picture of that. So going through that thing, going through such, I'll call it betrayal of so-called friends.
And betrayal of trust.
Yeah, betrayal of so many trusts. People who you would literally think
uncles, bro, relatives.
Yeah, people you would think that they should actually hold us in trust were not there. They were nowhere to be found. A lot of people made promises and promises and promises and promises. 1 year after, they were nowhere. So going through all of those and having to struggle financially, I mean, growing up until the event of my dad's death, if I ever had anything to ask, because many times we want some devices that people used to use then, and a lot of times, in fact, my mom rejected to buy me any device. But the answer was a simple no or a simple yes. But after my dad's death, then the explanations came in. So for every 1 naira that has to be spent, it has to be done prudently. There has to be a reason why she has to, in fact.
Because she was struggling so much.
Yes, she was struggling. And I didn't know what she had known, but she didn't want to have anything to do with all of his political associates. She just wanted to be on her own. So,
and none of them was coming to her rescue.
No, none were coming. In fact, one of the things that brought her to her utmost shock, I later got to hear from her, and much later got to hear from another politician in the state. My dad was a very prominent, what is now known as APC, but then it was ACN. So he was a prominent APC member, and within the structure, he was a very vibrant guy. So the governor, in fact, on the sick, while he was still sick, he was at his polling booth to still deliver his own units on election day. Even though he was sick, he was still there. The guy was the politician to the core. So for someone who gave at the peril of his life was still trying to make sure that the governor gets to power. When he dies, you would at least expect that some people will understand the sacrifices paid and pay back. When one person tried to raise his issue up in the APC caucus meeting, Then one of the prominent women leader in the state said, we are talking about people who are alive. You are talking about people who are dead. Such insensitive statements.
No, but someone who is dead is those the dependents.
Yeah, but they don't care. They forget all of those.
And so that is the most needy. Those are the most needy people.
But that doesn't happen in our society.
And when that statement is talking about greed. Because you are saying you are talking about those who are alive, you are talking about the one who is dead. So you want to grasp everything.
Yeah. So as soon as my mom heard that, she just said, no. She is done. So having to experience that early enough made my eyes very open to the very big possibility of human betrayals. And so that's why even at that, because as a young guy, my dad was always telling me about the difference between friends and associates. I just knew it like that, but when he died, then I saw the vivid picture. Probably even knew what he was dealing with. But having to deal with all of this growing up now from 15 to the age that I am now, it has helped me to better prepare for a better life than he has done. And so that my own legacy can be a trust for those who will be my own children and all of those.
But how come soon after the death of your dad, your mom also died?
That was 7 years apart. However, I would think my dad was sick anyway. My mom was sick, but I think I had to deal with more with religious.
But your mom was also young, about 50 something, right?
Yeah, 57 thereabout.
Yeah, so she was quite young still.
Yeah. So I think the delusion, so to say, I say this with utmost respect to her, but the delusion that comes to religion had a lot to do with her death. Because as of the time she was meant to be taking care of her health, maybe for instance, she was doing a lot of fasting and prayers. She wasn't sleeping. So a lot of this had a lot of pressure on her. Now I got to understand it more, being in the medical field. Nobody will be fasting the way my mom fasts, and it won't have some physical deterioration of their health. Not sleeping and doing a lot of night vigils. And I was telling her then, things went the way they did.
So you were able to talk. You were able to talk to her, right?
Yeah, as of 2012, 2013, I was already talking to her. But the whole concept of everything you are talking about in the African church now, which she was a victim to, played a huge role.
But she didn't know she was a victim.
No, she didn't know. She would be going to mountains praying. She believed that there was somebody called an enemy who was after her. There was a battle she has to fight. But how I wish she just understood her victory in Jesus, her position in Christ. How I wish she did. She would have rested better, eaten better, slept well, and just lived her life in the position of who she was in Christ.
Can you move towards my side? Move towards my side a little bit. No. This way. Yeah. Good. Yeah, go ahead.
So I believe she would have lived longer. So yeah, she was sick, but if she understood the place and put the place of focusing on God and the place of focusing on oneself and taking care of oneself now, I think at least she would have lived longer. So for her, when I look at her, I see.
Because she was thinking that it means she was a typical Nigerian that believed that it is only God.
Yeah. Yes. She was just. So when you talk about everything you talk about in the Nigerian Christian community, I exactly know what you say. So when someone like me also come to talk, I'm talking from a place of loss. I know how that feels. It's stolen someone from me. I don't know, and I don't know one woman on earth or one person on earth who prayed as much as my mom did. But with what I know now, it was just an absolute waste of time.
Because he didn't even save her. He didn't even help her.
Yeah. Sir, so that is how I know that if all this unnecessary repetition of prayer or praying against the enemy works by any means, my mom should have been the first person to say. So it's a wrong investment, because the prayer that we ought to be doing was meant to just be a communication with our Father without stress, just to enjoy His presence, enjoy His company, enjoy the life He's giving us. But when we are coming from the place of fear of one enemy, and that's because of what the Christianity has sold to us. I myself, she is taking us to so many of those night videos. So remembering all of those nonsense prayer points now, it was just a waste of time that one should have spent sleeping.
Regaining and rejuvenating your health.
Rejuvenating yourself. And she, not to mention that she was a very hard worker. So it's not like somebody was just lazing around and then going to pray. So she was a very hard worker. She was working double to sustain the family, at least to the standard where two were taking us to. You know, when my dad was around, so she was doing so much more. So the time she was meant to spend rejuvenating, getting strength, she's using to pray again.
And fast.
And not sleep at night. And pray to the top of our voice. So if she had the opportunity to listen to your message, the things you are saying now, she had the opportunity to sit down to digest it. And she was just a victim of what was a popular and accepted way of worship. And she had a different orientation, a different message. And one of my regrets was that I never had the opportunity to go back home.
You didn't?
Yeah, I didn't go back home until after she had died. So the communication from here wasn't flowing. I couldn't really communicate what I have known as of that time to her. So I was just mentioning it a little. And the thing was, she was agreeing with me, but with some buts. So if I had the opportunity to go back home then, I mean, it was financial though, the gray areas of buts probably I would have been able to show her. So that is why it's important that anybody who understands what you are preaching today has to share it, know it as a duty. You don't know how many lives you could be saving. The things that Pastor Sunday Elijah is preaching now, this is why it must get to every Nigerian home. A lot of people are being damaged, being killed by religious delusion. By the day, my mom is just one of the statistics. I love her so much, but I wish she knew better. I just wish she knew better.
But
So
I think the reason...
listening, we owe it as a moral duty to spread this message. Not just that you are changing someone's mind, you will be saving lives. You will be saving people from unnecessary fast. You will be helping people to get some rest. Listen, sleep deprivation is one of the things that are killing people in Nigeria. I know the people that are causing it most, churches that are doing night vigil, 17 days night vigil. So they would have put stress on people that as of that time their hearts will be working at the threshold of the capacity. So by the time the heart is working like that, heart failure is just on the way. That person is just about to suffer some heart failure. That person is just about to die of stress. Nothing else, so it's not devil. It's just stress that is going to kill that person now. And the people that have put that yoke on him is church. Because they never did tell you that God is with you everywhere. And the essence of coming to church is just to fellowship with people, but you can talk to your church, to your God at home. So they make you come to meet God on one special mountain, to come to meet God at some special time. But God is not like that. And this is the message that Dr. Sunday is teaching. And that is why beyond just knowing for yourself, you owe it a moral duty, both to God and to man, to share these messages. If only my mom had known, I wish she did.
No, but I think she was doing all that because she was thinking she was now the only one left. Because I know the way mothers think. Mothers always think that I am the only one. I must not leave my children, 3 children. I cannot leave them. Nobody will take care of them. Without me, they will be lost. That's what mothers think. And I think your mom was thinking like that. So, but because of the way she had been taught, she's been taught not to take care of herself, but to go and pray and fight for her children and for against enemy. But now that she is gone, nobody is fighting. And you are alive. And all the enemies are not killing you for some reason.
That's it. And to know that I am not even living my life anywhere near the direction which it was doing. And not one thing is happening to me. Why? Because I have a different understanding. I'm cut out of a different thread. I operate by something different here. I know that for someone to get to me, he must first get to Christ. No.
That is why that is why people teach that it is prayer that you need to overcome Satan without telling them it is truth that is needed.
And just that one thing, sir, is killing people in Nigeria in droves.
Instead of saving them.
Is killing them in droves. In droves. In fact, one of the things that happened early was after my mom died, one of my mom's siblings, because I don't really talk to my relatives like that. I don't do that. I just live my own life. Just once in a while, I reach out to them or they reach out to me. Just once in a while. I'm not in constant communication with them. But however, the statement she made that day and I told her off was trying to insinuate that my mom was spiritually killed by the people from my father's side. Can you imagine that? So I had to tell her off, explaining the little. I was just even in third year then, that from what I know in medicine, this woman, she's even tried that she lived this long. Because I see patients daily, every day in the hospital, different cases. So, but apart from the fact that it's an insult to try to attach such to these people, but just on the basis of reality and of truth, what you're saying is not just true. So I told her off. But now here's where it's coming from. She's speaking from a mindset that churches are placed on people that when people are sick, they are only being tormented of Satan. Whereas there's a principle that governs health. If you break it, it will break you. You cannot, even machines know when to have rest, or else they will wear and tear up. I remember one of the things you told me, sir, is that I should sleep for as long as. When I did not obey that, sir, I knew what I was facing. But I've learned to rest. I put off, in fact, things that I wanted to do just to rest again because I was stressed. Now imagine somebody who doesn't know that, who only thinks everything is spiritual. He will never obey those principles and he will just die of wear and tear. So churches make everything look just spiritual. When indeed, principles have been placed here on earth for us to obey and then benefit from just obeying those. When you are tired, go to rest. When you've worked, make sure you rest. Rest is a very big principle. And people should learn, never ignore the symptoms of pain. Pain is an alarm system that God has put in your body so that you won't die unexpectedly.
But in churches, they tell them to but they are telling them to confess another thing.
While you are confessing, there's a place for confession, but do your part and let God do his part. You are not the one who will take that away if you confess. So as you are confessing, it is not anti-faith to go get some paracetamol or to go see a doctor. Because it was God who revealed to those ones, who showed them how to get your body healed. So there's a place of confession. I will not tell you not to confess, But as you are confessing, make sure you also understand that the body responds to principle 99% and to miracle 1%. And you are not in charge. You don't know when that 1% will happen.
Wow. How did you, when and how, under what circumstances did you come in touch with DSA? And what do you think? How do you think that has affected your life?
Well, I had been a member of God's Embassy in Simferopol. So I had seen some of your messages as of then, but even though I was the member of your church, I still wasn't connected to you. Sad to say, but the picture even I had of you as of that time was that of the average Nigerian pastor. So I didn't want to connect because I was like, I cannot leave Nigeria, I cannot leave this rubbish in Nigeria and come back to the level of these Nigerian pastors again. So I mean the average Nigerian Jew.
But what made you just because I was a Nigerian, eh?
Yes. So I just put you in that category of what the average Nigerian Jew would do. Because for me, even though I was even in the church then, most times within such church organizations, even before I got to Siveroko, my own ideas are different. Because I was the one who thought the things ought to be done differently. Not like I knew what I knew now, but even for the little I knew then, I knew a lot was wrong. So, but I didn't want to even connect with you just to avoid all of those unnecessary stuff. But, however, as I was leaving Crimea and coming back to mainland Ukraine after the Ukrainian war, I began to get a clearer picture of you. Because now I saw your articles and this person is brilliant too. And one of those that I saw that in fact just killed me up was the book you just released now. So for people, I'm saying this so that people will know for how long you've written the article before you release the book. And I remember the last time you said it was 2 years. But that time it was 2015 and the book was released just ending of 2017. So for me that's 2.5 years. Plus the time it took you before you even released the article. So maybe 3 years on just getting your stuff for a book. And that's the purpose and calling of nations. So I read that article and I was like, wow. So I was amazed. But coming to mainland Ukraine, I was able to I started seeing your works and your influence just in Ukraine here. I was able to see it on a much clearer note outside the...
But that, just for your information, maybe it will benefit you. Before I wrote that article, I had had the manuscript 15 years before.
Wow. Wow. So, but just for me, just that even short time, that 3 years was, I didn't know it, but I mean, just to know that, but to now know 15 years. Well, knowing you, it's so easy to believe. Knowing, I mean, I wouldn't be talking as someone who has not come in contact with you. So, for me, Desha, I was not working on anything.
You were captivated, you were more captivated by the intelligence.
By the intelligence than the religious connection, no. So that's why, for me, when we met on the basis of discussing Nigeria Student Association, when I wanted you to be, I came to you, I wrote you to be the patron of Nigeria Student Association there, which I was leading there. And so by the time I got to your house, I got a totally different picture of what I had imagined. That was one. Your reception and everything, that was
yeah, people would like to know what was it that created a different picture.
Your reception,
don't talk to me as if you are talking to me as a person. Talk to me as a second person, as a third person. Like DSA, because you are talking to the audience. Yeah. So what is it that impacted, that changed you in one meeting?
For me, as of then, I told you, I had said it earlier that I didn't even want to connect with DSA because I had put him in the category of those average Nigerian pastors, and I mean just how they were, and I wasn't even ready for all of those stress. because I'd seen our pastors well. So, but meeting him in person, the reception, the hug, I mean, he just treats you as though probably you even think you've had connection for ages. And to now think of someone of this caliber in meeting you like that and treating you, giving you such a warm reception, then that already broke shackles. Number one, I knew that it is impossible that if this was a Nigerian pastor for me to have such an access, I knew it was just impossible. And that I will write you on mail and you replied me and gave me the direction of what to do. It was just so impossible. So now meeting you, now meeting Jesse, and it gave such an awesome, loving reception. It broke the barriers. It broke the wall. It just broke down the wall. So I was now more receptive to hear what he has to say. But not just be receptive for what he has to say. By the time we now started talking, I was just listening to intelligence. And nothing gets me in life more than intelligence. When someone is intelligent, I can spend 24 hours, even not eating, just listening or engaging. So by the time he was just talking, and we discussed a little bit on the article that you wrote, that which is now a book, The Purpose and Calling of Nations, and you were just sharing like that. I was wowed. Because then and there, I saw a man who was not just religious, not just that he had broken it with this warm reception, and the love that was able to convey through even just ordinary touch, and everything. But just by the fact that he is speaking, this man knows his history. This man knows his onions. He knows his book. He was giving out detailed information in just that one meeting. And all of this thing I'm talking about was about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. You were giving out details. And how I could recognize that because as of that time, even I had studied a few materials, I knew a few things. So when you were saying things that not just matched up the level of what I knew, but went ahead of it, and I knew, sir, this is not pride. Because this was one of my problems with a lot of those pastors. They don't even have half of the information I have. As of that time, those guys who find myself, they're just a pastor, they didn't have half of the information I have. So here you were, not just for your caliber, but you were giving out those statistics, those facts, those historical evidences to back up your points, or as to why not just people, but nations have purpose on earth. For me that day, this was intelligence, and I knew, as of that time, I had not even known your story, but I just could picture myself in you, just in that moment. So I knew I needed to consume. That was the day I registered for mentorship. So I knew I needed to consume more of your materials, and I began to go into the culture, and I was seeing a lot of more human-centric, human development articles. So for me, I now saw that, no, you were not just religious. You were not just the pastor, you were the life coach. You were the guy who was now the whole idea of God's embassy, a place where everyone finds fulfillment. That was the day it made sense to me. Now I understood why it is said embassy of blessed kingdom of God, a place where all find fulfillment. Because to now see the head pastor personify the message that he's talking about. Because I don't think someone like you will have such information that you had that day, and not. I now understood why Orange Revolution was possible. Because I now saw, it had happened to me too, that even when people don't like you personally, they are fighting you because of your relevance. They know when they cannot do without you. So I now saw that if you have this information, the nation knows why they should have you. And funny enough, I was having a discussion about you with someone, a very influential person even in Ukraine, and we're talking about your travels. And the person said to me, he said, I don't think Ukraine will let Pastor go this day like that. He said he knows how much you will believe in their economy the day you step your foot. So they are still trying to balance in their economy before they even think of you. So that's why they are trying to delay the whole process. They know how much you need their economy the day you set your foot out of this country. So he said, he was telling me that is why, because, for example, dear former Prime Minister, Juliana Timoshenko, with all how powerful she was, it didn't take long before they put her where they wanted to put her.
Yeah.
But why is it all taking 8 years?
Yeah.
Because they have nothing, but they know the moment you take your leg out of this country, they know what it's going to do. So, but just from that meeting that day, sir, I could see the intelligence, I could see why you were able to do what you were able to do, and I knew I needed to follow you. So, I needed to follow your material as of there, not even your person. So it was studying more of your material, seeing them little by little, and following some of your teachings that got so good. Then I came to HMT. Then some of you started your YouTube video daily. Then I was able to now start following till I now became a follower of your person as you follow Christ. And I also
what have you? What are the main things you've learned?
Wow. For me first.
Or changes,
Yeah, the first thing that I would consider not just a lesson but a change is having you and seeing you as a father figure. That for me is key, is vital. To just, many times, most of the things I have learned from you that have done so much are even things that probably you don't even communicate verbally. Many of them come from seeing you and asking those little questions and observing you do what you do. So just that fatherhood, and it's a very good point for me to know that there's someone somewhere who not just that I can ask questions, but I can model after. Because the truth is, one of the problems of America today, and now I know that because I have not just studied it, I've observed it in my own self too. One of the problems of the Black American community today is the lack of fathers. Most of the fathers are in prison. The ones that are not in prison are not at home. So when the guy is growing up, he's not growing up with a father. So he knows absolutely nothing about being a father. So for me, I was lucky enough or blessed enough to have one now until 16. But 15 was just when my development should start. So I have tried, my dad actually had given me a lot of information and material that were even more than my age. My mom used to fight him that this thing you're telling this boy is too much for his age. But however, that could only keep me to a point. At some other point in time, there was a yearning for a father figure. So once you are doing that, everybody I've seen is either probably I know more than them. And this is not it's not for pride. It's not for pride. It's just what it is. Or the direction in which they are living their life is not the direction that I'm going at all. So there was absolutely no cause to follow them. So, but meeting you was just like an answered prayer. Not only can I learn from you in terms of what you say, but I can look at your life and not to copy, but to take valuable principles of lessons of fatherhood and see what it means to be a father, and learn the lessons of what it means to be a son, so I can use that to build my life. And I think it's glaring, and everyone can see that now. So that for me is the first one. Number two is confidence to be non-conformist. The confidence to be non-conformist. I think saying that now, if people recollect what I said earlier, that I did not want to connect with personally, that was because of the non-conformist nature, my non-conformist nature. So a lot of times people used to see me as a rebel. However, it's just because I knew things ideally should not go this way, but this is what society has accepted. So, and of the truth, one thing that all of us want in life is to love and be loved. Every one of us, in one way or the other, are looking for societal acceptance. So how can I, for example now, still maintain relevance and societal acceptance when I'm not conforming to the standards of the same society? So, for example, I am a preacher, and within the church structure, I don't think things should be going on like this. So there's always a battle for relevance and conformity. But meeting you and the things you are doing and the things you've said and the message you preach are now putting it to the first one I said about having a model, I know that being a non-conformist is one sure way to stay relevant.
Yeah, because
So
you cannot change a society if you are not higher than it.
yes.
So the
Yes.
only way, if you have conformed to the society, then you'll not be able to change it.
Yeah.
The only people who change society are the people who are standing higher than it.
Yeah. So following you now, I now have the confidence that okay, yes, people can be non-conformist and stay on top and stay relevant and still be sought after. So it's not just looking for love and attention. And now I've seen that in the fact that, like I said, even in my non-conformity now, those who even throw stones at me, they know only that this thing is only me that can solve it, and they know how to reach out to me when that happens. So that confidence to be a non-conformist is one other thing I've learned from you. And then another thing is paying attention to details, and etiology. It was from you I learned that wisdom is only responsible for 2% of all human success, but attention to details is 98%. All of my life, what I was looking for was wisdom. I just wanted to be wiser. I just wanted to be wiser. I wasn't paying no attention to details. But now I'm doing so more productive by just paying attention to details, to look at everything holistically, not just to want to rush through it and be the best. No, so it's not for me. It's no longer about the fastness of the pace, but how moderately and yet holistically it can be. How can I see everything in full pixels? So that one I learned from you. And
The process.
for you, I think you've trained yourself. I'm not saying that because I've been with you. You could be doing 3 things at the same time. And this one I saw, for example, in reading to you. And when you read something to something, you think because he's going through his gadgets, reading something, it's not this thing that I say, no. This is how it should be. So you pay attention to so much detail that you have not trained yourself, and you've told us about that you can share your attention and yet be detailed in everything. So me, I'm not yet on that level, but at least on one thing that I can take now, I've learned to pay attention to detail. And so it has caused me to be slower at reading, but at least with every letter, the truth be told, I get better with every letter. So paying attention to detail.
And paying attention to details is the same thing as pay attention to process, not just the production, but the process to get the production, the productivity.
Yeah. So, and another thing is when solving a problem, to get to the root. Don't just because for me palliative was okay, even then. Just to get the symptoms off, then we can get moving. But for you, you don't just go to the symptom, you go to the root. And that's why a lot of people don't get to understand, especially when you are talking about political events. So that's why a lot of people come at you, but they don't know that to ever change anything, we must get to the root. Then start coming from the root. So for me now, my thinking process, and that's why I think by God's grace, I'll make a big president, a very successful president. Because for now, I have realized that if some things don't change on the basis of roots in Nigeria, even me, I will fail. So that ability to go to the root, and this is connected also to your truth series. The first way to get to the root and etiology of any problem is to tell the truth about you to yourself. So if you can tell the truth about you to yourself, you have aided yourself in going to the root. Because now, even if you find yourself to be a part of the problem, you will not, because of that, stop. So if I can tell myself the truth now, for example, that, okay, what am I doing to affect Nigeria? And I find out that it is nothing. So that first acceptance that I'm not doing, I'm in UK or I'm in USO, I'm not doing anything to help Nigeria. The first thing to be able to tell myself that I am also live in Nigeria and I throw trash on the ground, I'm a part of the problem. So now, I haven't told myself that truth. When I'm not trying to find out why it's everywhere dirty, and I will now get to the root, is that the root now is that everybody is throwing something everywhere. That if it is not too dirty for you to pick biscuit out of it, then it's not too dirty for you to put it in your pocket till you get to the next trash can. So that ability to go to a theology is very vital, and that's one of the things I learned listening to you. And again, in fact, this one is what I would say revolutionized me altogether. When I got this one that I'm going to mention now, I felt as though I could solve any problem in the world. The understanding of the role of value systems. When I understood how much value system means and the lack of it thereof, then I began to see in clear form the problem that Nigeria has, the problem that America has, even though we think they're doing well, the problem that even Japan that we are talking about that they're doing well, I was able to solve this in clear details, and I know exactly how to solve them. Why? Because I understood value systems. So when I got that, I saw, the problem of Nigeria is not the politician, no. The problem is value system. So if we must attack anything, we must attack the source of where values are being produced. And that's
so you will understand what was happening 2 days ago when I was trying to talk about the herdsmen killing, and I was trying to address value system, that Nigerians shouldn't just talk. That's a value system thing. Nigerians shouldn't just look for reactions. That's a value system thing. Don't just react. Don't just give place to opportunists. And don't just, that is, I was trying to come to, I call those things two pitfalls that Nigerians always get when there is a crisis. But people were still calling that day. And they were still telling, but you don't know, it happened. They killed. You don't know, they give cutlass. Why did they carry? They are discussing things that happened. They are not going to the root.
Yes, they are not going to the theology. One thing, especially within the political sphere, people don't know now, and I don't know if you're upset now, but I'll say this. People should not forget that we are already getting to an election period. These killings may not even stop, no matter how much Buhari wants it to stop. Because there are people who think that the Boko Haram directive was what was used to displace them. And so some of those people, you may not know the quality that is going on, are thinking that if we can sustain this bigotry that is full of people that are killing and are causing mayhem, so they will even be doing more killings. You may call this whatever you want to call it, but it's also a possibility. And they will be doing more killings just to sustain that pressure of full of people are doing this and that and doing this and that. But we must be wise enough to not be reactionary, because it is our reactions that fans the embers of what they are doing. Just not to be able to look at why is this thing happening. Because what they want to do, probably some of them, is just to sustain a propaganda machinery that will say because this one is full and that's why it doesn't clear. But what was happening before the Fulani president came in? Are we asking those questions? Are we trying to find out the root of the problem? Are we trying to give better value systems that will address this issue right from the beginning, and not just to talk about the thing? Yeah, I understand the place of KIP killing must be condemned, it is true, but there is a value system that is producing all of those.
Absolutely.
What are the better things that we could do that can stop these things? I think these are the things we should be talking about, because it's a value system, like you said, sir, to just be complaining without preferring solution. Now, before you condemn any government, ask yourself, what would you do better?
Do you know, that question you just asked now, do you know that people didn't even get what I was trying to do? Some people were writing and saying I was campaigning for Buhari, even though I said I would not support the guy, I would not vote for the guy, but I was giving them the list of what he has done so that they will have a base. And they have basis to be able to examine whoever they want to choose. so that they will not just remove one and put another. That's what we have been doing all the time. So I was trying to give them something. Yes.
Yes, sir. And another wrong value system in Nigeria is our ability to be amnestic. We forget things very fast and so easily. In fact, things that happened just in 2014, many Nigerians have forgotten. So they will not even appreciate whatever it is that is now, even though it is bad. But the question is, if Nigerians should actually ask themselves of the truth, Buhari is bad, he has underperformed, but which would have been better, the former government or this one? But I tell you that Nigerians have forgotten what was going on in 2014. As much as Buhari may be bad, the question is, what were the things that made us vote for him? If it is wrong, let us not repeat it next time. One of those narratives were the need for a Messiah. And we are dancing towards that path again. That who is that Messiah that will come and save us from the Buhari regime? We are not considering statistics, we are not considering facts, we are not considering figures, we are not considering both past history and contemporary ones. Now we are looking for another savior again. So another person will come on a very populist note and we will be worse of their Buhari because we are not asking the questions that matter. So not
short memory.
Yeah, short memory, we forget so easily. So not looking at values, not trying to address value systems, and not looking at etiology is one of those things that's affecting Nigeria as it is now, sir.
So how many things have you mentioned that you've learned?
I've mentioned 4.
Okay, very good. Yeah, you wanted to round up or something?
Yeah, the 5th one, sir, is time investment. Like I said, before I met you, I was not empty, so I knew some things. But the best I knew about time was to save time. I knew nothing about time conversion.
Well, if you know now about time conversion, I will tell you that you are probably in the 1% or under 1% of the people in the whole world that know this. Because Americans, everybody is reading books from Americans, and the only thing Americans are writing about when it comes to time is time management, time saving.
Yeah, that was the best I knew. So I was actually saving my time, but I had no idea of what it means to live it tomorrow. So when I got that, sir, one of the differences between me and a lot of my colleagues. In fact, sir, before my mom died, there was a statement I made to her. That was in 2013. I said, "Ma, I am 5 years ahead of my mates." And as of then, I was in 2nd year. So as of then, I considered myself 5 years ahead of my mates, not even knowing what I know now. So not even knowing anything about time conversion. But when I knew about time conversion, I stopped being 5 years ahead of my mates. But while my mates were living for a career, while they were trying to build a career, they are trying to get everything to build a career, I started living for a legacy. So it's not convenient, but I know now what it means to invest time and live for a legacy. So I guess we'll talk about those, and those were the reasons why I have some things called kingdom fruits now. Because I started living for those legacies while I was in school, trying to do things that I would not have to do, or that I would have at least known how to do when the time to do it eventually comes.
Yeah, that was going to be my last question, my second question, my next question rather, that once you mention the lessons you've learned, that you should just go ahead and mention the kingdom fruits those lessons have produced in your life, or that you have produced, also thanks to those lessons too.
Yeah, so one of the first project I did after meeting you particularly was a project called Passionate. So the Passionate structure is to help people find out what is their passion, what is their purpose rather, and put passion into it and then expect fulfillment. So we have that structure in place now that deals with passionate talks, that deals with Passionate as a like a conference. We host conferences, and there's a material that's in the works, although it's not yet out, but it's in the works. And so it's going to be a whole big movement where we bring in people who are doing stuff to share their story. We bring in people who are knowledgeable in certain fields to teach it, and we also organize master classes where people with crafts can teach such crafts and just show people how things are done so people can use it. So that's what we do with Passionate. And so people can tell their story in terms of, let's say, the nearest to such structure is what people now know as TED Talks. But TED Talks only talk, but as we have people not just tell their story, but we have segments where people share, for example, basic life hacks in different fields. Then we have segments where people teach craft. So they show their craft and show people how to get things done. Very interesting things from the easiest to the complex ones. So
that's number one.
That's number one. Then number two, I already had this in mind, but while I was working on looking through your yet to be released book, titled "Who Will Come to Your Funeral." I don't know when that book will be released.
This year, it's going to be released soon. Before the HMT.
Then I realized that death is not the tragedy. The tragedy is not to be remembered after death. Death is a constant factor. The spoiler alert is that all of us will die. But there are some men who never die after their death. Not on the negative side, but on the positive side of history, that their names will be mentioned when greatness is being mentioned. Not to mention that from you, I also learned the place of service, the utmost place of service. Because that is one of your key strong points that you are always hammering on. So I don't think anyone can come around you. I think the first thing anyone coming around you should learn is service. Just service. So, but for me, I wanted to do this whenever I think that I have now become financially stable. But reading your book that day, I got up off my bed and I started putting the structures together. And the structures that have come together today is what we now know as Project 30 before 30.
What does that mean?
So 30 before 30 is in two ways. For those of us who are under 30 years old and are going to partner or going to be a part of this, we are trying to encourage everybody who is under 30 years old to get 30 children to school before they are 30 years old. So that's what it is for those who are still very young and have age on their side. But for those who are still who are already above 30, who are already 30 already, they may be thinking, but me, I'm 30 already now. What will I do? Well, there is something called the Sustainable Development Goal of year 2030.
What will it cost, for example, somebody to put a child in a school for 1 year?
It depends on the school.
Yeah, you need to have figures, because if you don't have figures, I will not be able to say if I'm 29 now or 30 now that, okay, I want to join. But so 30, I need to calculate 30 students to put in school. For me, I need to know how much that will cost me in a year. So you must have one option, second option, third option.
Yes, so it depends on what you are looking at. But generally, we encourage people to just look at a private public school in Nigeria so that more people can access your intervention. So just in the first year, there are some schools that offer free education that what you need to do is essentially to get them the things they need, like uniform, bags.
No. They don't want to do it because I'm concerned for people.
So I'm going to give the figures. I'm just giving the different scenarios. So, but when you are doing that, it will cost you maybe maximum of 10,000, 15,000 naira.
No, how much would that be in dollar?
in dollars, to put a child in school in Nigeria now, you can spend $30 to put a child in school.
For 1 year?
For 1 year. And if it's in a public school, the next year you will spend less.
Okay, $30 I can invest $30 and put one child through school.
In school.
So if I have $300, I will be able to do 10.
10.
So if I have $900, I will be able to do for how many? 30 that you said.
Yeah.
So $1,000.
You do 30.
Okay. So under 1,000. So for example, even for adults, why don't you have this option for adults? That for example, I am a parent of 3 kids. My kids are under 30. So if I say I'm no more fit for that program, but what about sponsoring my children?
No, you are fit. You are fit even though you are an adult. So what we do now is that you are doing it in line with the vision 2030. So you are saying before the year 2030, you want to have 30 children in school.
That's too long. That's a lot of years.
Yes, because we don't want to even put any pressure on you. No pressure. What we are just bringing to the mind of people is the responsibility and what it takes just for a child. And I am saying that because for someone like me, sir, who is doing this, I can do this because I eventually graduated from university in spite of all the challenges. And it was 1 or 2 people who assisted in making the dream a reality. And someone like me now graduated and I'm able to say, no, people will go to school. That is the impact just one child can make. So don't look too much at the numbers. Look at the consciousness and the responsibility of affecting just one life. So if it is 1 per year that you can do, no pressure. Just make sure you have the consciousness. And the truth is that those who eventually did 1 always wanted to do 2. They came back for 3, they came back for 4. They are looking towards more. Because there's a fulfillment that comes in saying that you are the reason why a child can go to school. You are the reason why a child can say, I have hope. It is because of you, the poverty index in Nigeria is reducing. Because of you, the illiteracy index in Nigeria is reducing by 1. Just that. And okay, that's one thing I also learned from you, sir. The power of 1. The power of 1. How just 1 man can change the world. How if you change 1 life, it can have a boomerang effect.
How did you learn that with DSA? Is it by what? Observation, reading? How did that lesson come across?
For me, observation 1. Number 2, if people listen to you, not just for words, they will hear that, they will hear you say that. And you said that particularly with 1 statement which sounded controversial at a particular point in time. When you said on earth, it is more important that you believe in yourself even than in God. Because yourself is 1. If you can believe in that 1, you'll produce so many more results. So many more results. So from you now, I have learned the power of 1. I know just what just I can achieve. So I know just what investing in the life of just 1 child can produce. And you see, sir, and I'm saying this again to parents. I say this to parents. Parents, please listen to me. The reason why you are investing in your child is so that you can leave the world better than you met it. But here's the mistake you may be making. To assume that your children that you are investing in will be the only occupant of the world you want to leave behind. Let me remind you that these people we are abandoning today are also going to be inhabitants of the same world we'll be leaving behind for our children in whom we have heavily invested. So while it is good to invest in our children, and it is very good, we must not forget that the next child nearby who is not having access to anything called education, whatever his life will turn out to be, will either be a blessing to that child or a curse. And so the Fulani headsmen that are ravaging Nigeria now, just imagine they had education. So when I heard a pastor placing a curse on their unborn children, I now saw the folly in that pastor. Because he doesn't even know that his own 7th generation will live in the dispensation of the 7th generation is cursing. So please let us remember that as we are investing in our children, to invest in other children who seemingly will not have the means to have what we can give our children is also very important. So if we think of that, then
are there more fruits, kingdom fruits, or projects that you have?
Yes, sir. So
how can the people find you, by the way?
Yeah, I have a website, www.bamisayevictor.com. So people can go to my website or write me directly on bamisayevictor@yahoo.com. And my Facebook page is also BAMISAYE, so you can find me there. So the other part that is coming on again is, after I met you, I've been able to release my book, but not often. And there's another one coming up. It will be released in April, so it's in the works.
Is your book on Amazon or Okada?
Yes, it's on Amazon.
Not on Okada?
No, not yet on Okada.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's on Amazon. So my book is on Amazon.
Not yet?
On Okada. It is not yet on Okada.
No. What the book is called? Not...
But not orphaned.
But not orphaned, yes. Okay.
Yeah, so people can read that and have an idea of the mindset and part of the story of what happened after the process of the demise of my parents.
You said something else is coming up.
Yeah, there's a book coming up, sir. And thanks to what I've learned from you, so I've been able to use that. I'll just mention it now so people can. I think this will be the first place I've mentioned it publicly. So it is called Rebirth. Rebirth. How values can transform a nation as complex as Nigeria. So in that book, I have been able to discuss about eight value systems that if Nigeria will just inculcate and imbibe this value system, our problems will disappear. It will be like we never had it. It may sound like magic, but that is just what it is. For example, and these are things that we've been hearing, but I've also been able to come with empirical evidence to show you in places where it has been. For example, in this book, I've made the argument of a friend told me that Nigeria needs a revolution like Ghana, where all of the leaders will just be killed and the problem of Nigeria will be solved. Then I was able to ask the friend, what's the difference between Nigeria and Ghana today? Then we realized there wasn't so much difference.
Even Lagos alone is richer than Ghana itself.
Yeah.
Just Lagos alone.
Yes, sir. So no difference. Not as killed. Even though they killed all of their own leaders. So it shows that the revolution Nigeria, a country as complex as Nigeria is in the values. And we've seen that in a nation as complex as Singapore. How they transform the values. We've seen how honesty, just honesty, sir, just honesty, nothing else, just honesty is making the economy of a country called Switzerland thrive. Their natural resource is honesty. And that sounds absurd, that sounds ridiculous. But that's why, I always say that, a thief in Nigeria will steal in Nigeria, but knows not to keep it in Nigeria because someone will steal it from him. And that's why we end up in the looting of Abacha's loot. So Abacha now will loot, he knows very well not to keep that money in Nigeria. He keeps it with the people who are honest. He keeps it in Switzerland. But in Nigeria today, a lot of investments that ought to come in are not coming in because as Nigerians, we don't trust ourselves. I know today, for example, if I have to start a business, Nigeria have to be on ground, or else they will run into the ground. So just as I know it, every Nigerian in diaspora knows it like that. So nobody is bringing their investment to Nigeria because most Nigerians are not honest in that sense. And this is not to insult Nigerians. We need to tell ourselves that truth. Because even you that you want to fight me now, and if you are abroad, when did you start an investment at home? You don't do that because you know they will kill it. So if Nigerians can imbibe honesty, then more investment will be flowing in. And the more investment are flowing in, productivity will increase. And when productivity increases, our economy will be better. GDP per person will increase. Poverty index will reduce. But you know what, Lisa? In fact, I am more scared of people who are called pastors than people who don't bear title.
Wow.
Because many times, not just that they are not honest, they have no expertise. So you now think because this person is a pastor, you give him your business, a lot of time they run into the ground. So people are not bringing their investment back home. So I've been able to argue that now in such a way. So the values that if Nigerians will just imbibe, sir, if we just imbibe these values, values of work, values of youth in governance and ideological power, economic power, and if the youth can get this, how they also can take over government and destruction, while they cannot keep complaining. I was able to explain the Macron effect. So, and the truth be told, many, if not all, of these values were things I learned from you. And I think I mentioned it earlier, mentioning how I learned value systems from you. And I feel like I can solve the problem of, in fact, any country in the world today.
Which is true.
Just by looking at what are their values and measuring it with what ideal values should be. So, for example, in Japan, I look at Japan, I see that they are working hard, but they have a problem that hard work without rest is killing them now. So if they can just imbibe the value of balance, knowing when to rest and not bringing your work to your house, keep detachment, the value of detachment. Although I think if I would be putting that in another place, because I learned that from you too, how to attach and detach, just to be able to create balance between fulfillment and fulfillment in different sectors of one's life. So, and also because of the things I've learned from you, and I've said it again, the confidence to be a non-conformist. I've also been able to share what I believe are my own values, my own thinking process, what have now become my thought, the things I've learned that have become a part of me on my online social media platform, and that informs why I have so many videos.
What is it called?
As of now, I have something called Why Nigeria Must Stand Against Our Religious Leaders, amongst other miscellaneous videos that I share online on different topics. But now I'm talking about why Nigeria must stand against our religious leaders. And in those videos, I'm preaching against, I'm talking about why it is religion that has brought Nigeria to where it is today. And if we will correct the malfeasance and the rubbish that religion has brought, then we will start getting our way back. So I've been able to prove how we value miracle over our work. And tomorrow, for instance, now I'll be starting another part of that where I'll be talking about how religion stole the value for human life. So I'll be able to prove that almost every killing in Nigeria.
Is it on BAMISAYE Victor?
Yeah, BAMISAYE Victor on my private page.
Facebook.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other point you would like to make before? Because I want to show your photographs of some of the children you are taking care of.
Yes, sir.
And some of the other photographs you have there. Yeah, but I want to hear you to the end first.
Yes, sir. What I would just like to say on a final note is that number one, as I have said and I've shared from the story of my mom, how pathetic it was, every one of us here owe it a moral duty, not to DSA, but to God and to humanity, to please share these revolutionizing messages. You just may be saving a life. You will be saving lives in scores and in the hundreds.
Okay, now can you put it in your own word then? What will you think the encounter with DSA has done for you? What has it meant to you, or what has it done to you? Because people, in your simple words.
In my simple words, when I met God, I met myself for the first time. However, we have seen how God has used people to train people. So meeting you is like I as a Joshua meeting my own Moses and getting the training required to deliver my generation. So meeting you has been revolutionizing. It's giving me the right approach, the right perspective to life, to live the life that God has called me to live. So now I am so confident with the values I'm learning from you that if Nigeria will be in my care, the country cannot fail. And so not just that,
Yeah, tell them that is because you have a revelation and a dream and a passion to become the president of Nigeria. Can you mention that a little bit?
Yes, sir. So I am very sure that by the time Nigeria will be in my care, it cannot fail. So because as of 2035, by God's grace and hard work and putting everything that needs to be in place, I hope to be the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Many of you can see the stuff here. You see His Excellency. So, by 2035, by God's grace, we are going there. Meeting you now has given me a whole lot of a holistic approach into how to tackle the situation in the country. Not like I know everything exactly now, but I know just the direction to go in doing all of those. So I know just where to go and I know just the kind of information to consume. So meeting you has done that. And I think that, sir, with what you're doing, you can be sure of the generation you are leaving behind. As long as we are alive, someone like me is alive. You have nothing to worry about.
So do you think that kind of testimony you just gave now, the impact that meeting has created in your life, is it just you, or that same impact is viable, is possible to create that kind of impact if people will consume DSS material?
Like I said, the first thing that I have seen, and I've seen it, and I think it should be, that the people who come in contact with you learn a service. They learn to be serviceable to humanity. So people who come in contact with you have seen that the first thing they are, whenever they are going back.
No, is it possible? Is this same testimony possible for others, or is not?
That's what I'm saying, that I have seen it happen. not just for me to talk about the hope of it being possible. I have seen it happen. It is what is happening already.
You are talking about yourself or generally?
Not myself, other people that I've met, other people that I've seen. For example, there are people who have come to partner with us on the project we are doing now, and people who are even doing their own. So these are tested and trusted results. So if people will just sit down, take the time to consume your materials, even better than this testimony will come out. Even better. Even better. So what I think people should do is take a time, relax. Understand that what you've known all this while is going to fight back with the new information. But don't worry, just give yourself that time.
Okay, for example, let me tell you something. The reason I'm contending this your point is because that you came to invite me. I was doing my own thing here. I was busy, but you came to convince me to come to your program to minister to Nigerians and Nigerian students because you are their president. Then you handed over, and then you people arranged that conference, and I came. So that is to say, you are not the only one that came in touch with me.
Yeah.
There were people that you organized that also came in touch with me, even though it was one day event. But I can't remember any one of them coming back. And I can't see any passion or change. In fact, I had that impression that it was after they came in contact with me that they ran away. So how will you explain that? While you were running towards me, it was after that you came closer to me, but others that you brought disappeared. And some of them have even left the country now and they never tasted what you have tasted. So that's a paradox right there. Maybe you will not be as confident, maybe you will not be as sure and confident of your testimony anymore.
No. Yes, what I have learned about such paradox. However, it may not apply to all of them. It may be different. But I've noticed that people who do not have questions in life, people who never have questions, even when you provide answers to them on a platter of gold, they will not just reject it, they will rubbish it and never get better. So one of the differences I've seen between me and them was that there was a burning passion. I had questions a lot. Things were going wrong that I felt were not right. So by the time I saw an answer, I recognized it. It satisfied something in me. So I had to come back for more. So I think most of the people who could have come in contact with you never even had questions. So by the time they came in contact with you, they never knew what it was that they came in contact with. But however, many people who are coming in contact with you now, not them now, are coming in contact again because you are stirring up things that are quite controversial. And so there's a lot of questions in their minds. So I think that will be the difference between now and then. And that's why I'm saying, if they would just calm down, just understand that what they know will fight against what is coming newly, then it will be so much better for them. So I think the difference between I and a lot of those colleagues of mine was, I had an ambition, I had questions, and so by the time I saw you, I recognized the gift that you are. So I just had no choice but to come back for more. But many of them don't even have ambition, they have no questions, they are just biomasses, so to say. Nothing, they are not looking forward to anything as such.
I'm going to show some of your projects now. Can you show?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask them to show some of the things you people are already doing. You and your organization. What's the name of your organization or movement or whatever you call it?
Project 30 before 30.
Okay, that's one. I see. What is I Am the Dream?
Oh, that's me. I am the dream.
Okay.
People have a dream, but I am the dream.
Right.
So I'm taking responsibility.
I understand that will mean that you are the dream for the greater and better Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm going to show one now. We need to show it so that the people will see. And you come and show. It's already available. We need to show it. You remove that and put this one inside. Okay, you did. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, guys. We're trying to show some of the work that BAMISAYE Victor is doing. Okay, so tell me about this. Can you see what he said, or you can't?
Oh, now I can. I'm waiting for it to load.
Oh, okay. Okay, it is the project with the children.
Oh, 30 before 30, yes.
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 Who are these kids that I'm seeing here, these children?
These are just some of those. These are some of those who we've been able to put in school so far. So we are still at the first level. The second level will be to process their information after the second term. And after their second year, during their second year of working with us, then we'll be introducing values into them. So we are building the curriculum out of many of your books.
So these are
such as Who Am I? Why Am I Here? And so we are building them into things that can be that they can assimilate even at a young age, so that we also do not build a generation of people who are just waiting for handouts. So we can build people who understand that they, as much as they are being serviced, they also owe service to their community. So
okay,
that's what
we will show another one now of your project. No, these are the kids, yeah, but we show.
These are still some of the kids.
Okay.
Who we put in school.
And another one. What is this one? This is the same thing, right?
The pictures.
With the one that is project 30 before 30, giving every child a chance to dream. That is the logo. Okay.
Yeah, that's the logo. That's what they see from when they go to my website, BAMISAYE.com, then they'll see the sub there called Project 30 before 30. So they can click it and register either as if you're in Nigeria, and the best you can do is to just help us identify those children. When you see a child walking on the street, you can try to strike a conversation with them and try to see why are they not in school when their mates are in school. So you just give us the information, and then we will work on it straight away. We have volunteers who are working, who are volunteering for us, and they are part of the team. And then we cross-check the data you have provided. We swing into action immediately. Then you can also join us as a partner. There are two types of partnership we have. We have the ideological partnership and we have the financial partnership. So ideological partnership is that you also decide today to start doing what we are doing, to start putting children in school. We love that. We will try to assist you with the logistics that is needed, and every information you need to get that done, we will assist you with it. But if you are, for example, not in Nigeria and you like what we are doing, you can also come and be a financial partner and partner with us financially. We get the kids, we get the data, you see it, and we put them in school, and you get the report 3 times in a year at the end of every term. So you get the report, both financial and also that of the performance of the children. So you get the report every 3 times in a year. So that's what we're doing. So our project 30 before 30, by partnering with us, we are giving every child a chance to dream again. So because for me, I understand the unspoken desire that is in those children. When they see their colleagues, their mates, jumping off the school bag, coming back from school, they also want to be there. They just don't want to be walking. They just don't want to be on the street. They want to be in school. That is their unspoken desire. And so many times, in fact, they are shouting, but no one can hear them. Can you be the one whose ear can hear the pains of these children?
Maybe you can partner with Shegun Fatuma as well.
Oh, I would really love to get in contact with him.
Okay, I don't know if he's online now, but if he's not online, maybe we will send him our video, our conversation, because he has a dream like that too, to bring out the children that are hawking in the street. So instead of forming another organization, why don't you people just partner?
Yeah, partnership is always a very important stuff, but this one is just one of the things that I am going to unroll over time.
Okay.
So it's a part of the BAMISAYE Victor Foundation.
Yeah, but so, he can still partner with you, like you said, if they want to have the same vision or similar vision.
We are partners. We have a partner now called the Joshua Adeyemi and Abiola Lodge Foundation. They are a very big partner in this project. So we can partner to any length. In fact, there are some organizations in Nigeria now that give us the children. For example, in places like Abuja, you will think that they don't have this problem. They have it, especially for those who are original locals. Yeah, in that place. So because we can't get there, so there's an organization that we work with. So partnership at any level, we welcome it and we are open to do that.
Okay, thank you so very much, Victor. It's been a very, very productive conversation. Wow, I can't believe it. We are 10 minutes more to the next program. About 10 minutes more to my live broadcast. So I have to let you go. And see you guys, family. See everybody in 10 minutes time. Let's come back to continue. God bless. We are starting a new